I think our priorities have now shifted. Now we have to think more about this architecture, what we are building, whether it is sustainable or not. That's something we have to focus on.
Everybody thinks like quality will improve with tests, but actually the quality improves if the business alignment is correctly mapped out. Like starting slow and then expanding the team, expanding the code, and expanding the structure. That helps.
Great code is
Easy to maintain.
bad architecture feels like.
Feels like a burden.
Welcome to our another inspiring episode of AI Thoughtmakers podcast. So we have been doing the podcast with growth leaders, but today I have thought that as the entire topic is revolving around coding part, so I thought to invite a tech leads of our company. So we have Ankit and Joydeep from our side. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Prem.
Thanks,
to
Prem.
you.
So what exactly you are doing these days?
So yeah, I'm reviewing the code written by those AI generated tools.
Okay.
And even I'm also arguing with the tool, like when just making sure that what I'm doing is the right approach. So that's what I'm doing these days.
Great. And Ankit?
Yeah, same here, just doing the coding part, reviewing stuff, and in the spare time, just playing with some video games. That's
Amazing.
how it goes.
Okay, so we will be discussing about code quality and engineering excellence. So all are the software companies right now are building software as fast as possible, right? But I think it is worse than ever these days. And also, if you have a judgment on this, so is the code quality is getting decline day by day in the industries, or are the seniors, engineers, manager are becoming more grumpy?
So, Prem, see, we have like 10x engineers,
Yeah,
more than ever before, right?
Yes.
So more code is getting produced.
true.
And now the advent of AI, so the code is getting produced more. So more code, more bug.
Yeah.
So that's how it is, because and that's why we need the reviews to be very good right now, because as we are producing more code, like it's going in a very fast direction. So it has to be very well reviewed and very well thought out.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So I think our priorities have now shifted. So previously we used to this code generation was the difficult part. Now it has become easier with this AI tools.
Absolutely.
Now we have to think more about this architecture, what we are building, whether it is sustainable or not. That's something we have to focus on.
Yeah.
But if the quality is very important these days,
Yeah.
because we all know that it is coming very quickly. But if the quality is very important, then why in the engineering right now they are almost every managers are keeping a deadline that you have to do it in particular time. So
That's
why is it
because
so?
these deadlines are now visible.
Yeah.
Everyone is aware of that. So, but this this engineering practices, this quality only becomes visible
Yeah.
only when you make some mistakes, or when there are some outages in the production. That's when this quality becomes visible.
Yeah, like rightly, like Joydeep said, right?
Okay.
So like whenever a business comes, they are not buying code, they're actually buying outcomes. So naturally deadlines will come, like they have somewhere to ship, they need to be the market first. Many factors can come along. So it's our job as an engineer, as a lead, to like let them know, like you are compromising quality
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
speed. So we have to keep a balance. So yeah, that's why deadlines are important.
Yes.
It internally, our devs also need to have a track of everything and ensure the quality. If there is no deadline, then like everyone
Then the things will go haywire, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So it's important, but we need to keep a balance.
So in the same context, which one engineering practice you think that which is secretly you could think it's overrated?
Yeah. So I think chasing over this 100% test code, coverage code.
Okay.
So, instead of chasing over this, we can focus more on the main functionality. Like when there are some critical functionalities, so we can focus more onto that, testing that in a better way. I think we can focus on that over relying on this 100% test coverage, because it doesn't guarantee us the quality of the product. Yeah. So I think that's one thing, I mean, which is overrated now.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ankit, from your side?
Yeah, like adding to what Joydeep said, test coverage is same. Like everybody thinks like quality will improve with tests, but actually the quality improves if the business alignment is like correctly mapped out, and we know what we are trying to do, and we don't need to go to like advanced technology like microservices or like very high end like lambda functions, all these things. For a startup, just building the right product should be the priority, and that's how the quality is ensured. Because from get go, if we start planning out scaling and all the things, so we'll be going in the wrong direction. So that's why like starting slow and then expanding the team, expanding the code, and expanding the structure, that helps.
Yeah, that is, I think it's redefining the entire structure, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about something very interesting in terms of LinkedIn. What unpopular engineering opinion you think that can make a fight in the LinkedIn? That can in fact start a fight in the LinkedIn.
I think we shouldn't go by the trend, like I
Okay.
mean, what's currently going on. So some organizations might have adopted some technology or like some
Yeah.
artificial decision they've made, which suits their product. But we are aware of the context, like I mean, what we are actually building. So based on that, we can choose, like I mean, whether we want to go ahead with this approach or the other approach. That's something we can consider.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to give some light in optimization also?
Optimization in the sense like it can be done like Joydeep mentioned, it has to be based on the context of what you're building.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say you are building a chat application. The optimization would be very read heavy, like everybody should be able to, like there should be no downtime. But if you are building a application that has image processing, right, so it happens in the background, so the optimization priority there is entirely different. So it depends on the code or the product that you have. Yeah.
Interesting. It's also create a meaningful conversation about that thing, right?
Yeah.
So if I talk about something which AI, if let's say if AI writes a bug that will cost a company $10 million, so who owns it? It's a engineering guy or a AI or engineering manager or the company.
Yeah. So I'd say it's the engineer who is writing the code.
Okay.
And even the team member, like when who is reviewing the code. So because this AI is sort of a tool, like when which is helping us with the code, but we are the one, we are accountable for shipping this to the production. So we should be responsible for that because we are aware of the context, what we are building, what we wanted to, what is right for our products. So we are aware of all these things. So ideally, when we are the ones who is responsible for, like if anything we're shipping to production.
So under all this coverage, you can say most of the code will be written by AI also, and most of the code will be written by human also.
Yeah.
So do you think that the AI generated code should be more reviewed than the human generated code?
Yeah, at first it should be, because at a first glance the AI generated code looks very good, like it's doing everything, because it's very well structured and everything looks so pretty. So we think that the code is working, but
Yes.
it's very easy to miss the critical cases, the side cases that cause issues in the production.
And it's very usual these days, right? Very common.
Yeah. So yeah, that's we need to keep in mind. And obviously review process, previously we used to review our peers, now we are reviewing AI. So the process remains the same. It's just that more scrutiny is required because we don't know the person actually. We don't know what AI is thinking. Like it's generating out and every day there is a new model. We don't know how it will perform.
Correct.
But previously we used to know our colleague like, he writes it this way, this is good. But we don't know right now. So scrutiny is required. Yeah.
So are you saying that review is different? But what about the standard? What I think that they should have a separate standard engineering. I mean, they should have a separate engineering standard for all those stuff, right?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily? Okay.
So review is review. If it's AI code or a code written by human, is the same thing. It will eventually compile and it will get shipped and it will break in production.
Yeah.
So review is there should not be any practices. It's just that from the engineer's perspective, we should know that this is a generated code. Little more care should be taken for that. Otherwise, the practices would be same like we have like what we do for other code. Like following the pattern, following whatever the standards that is maintained by the team. So all remains the same. Yeah.
Even before this AI era, so we used to rely on Google or Stack
Mm,
Overflow as well.
yeah.
But we were not copying the things directly. So we were just checking whether it's suitable for all the platforms, whether it will work in all browsers. So all these practices were already there. Like when now also, even before accepting any solution, so we have to think about like whether it will. I mean, we will follow the same practices only.
Yes.
So it will remain same.
I totally agree that.
Yeah.
But if I talk about something productive, because if you work in the company, they will always see your productive day by day, right? On every single day. So if a lot of people say also these days that AI can make the engineering guy more productive these days. But do you think that the code reviews are becoming more important or less?
I think it's more important, considering that it's not that we are not relying this AI tools.
True.
But we are accountable, for what we are building. So that's why I feel like this review is more important. And I think any other pointers from you?
Yeah, same. So if the review depends on like what you are doing when you're reviewing the code. Let's say I raised a pull request, a merge request, and I am spending 30 minutes just looking into the code names, like what is the variable names, what is the function name. So that's a very bad pattern. You should actually see the logic. You should have the product in mind, and then see what this code is doing and how this affects my product, how if there any issue can happen in production. All these things we need to do. That's a correct way of reviewing the code, not the like syntax issue, because that AI can also do right now. So yeah.
So you're getting more time in reviewing the architecture, the patterns that's being used in the whole application.
That's a real world example, I would say, right? So now I will check in terms of some statement. I will present some statement to you, and you can say agree, disagree, or it depends.
Yeah.
Okay. Most code reviews are a waste of time.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah. A brilliant engineer who writes messy code is a liability.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
You agree, right? For this one, speed matters more than perfection.
It depends.
Yeah.
Okay. Every engineer should understand system design.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, you agree for that? AI generated code should never be merged without human review.
Yes, for sure.
Great one. So this is for this one. Rapid fire will of course come after this at the latest stage. Have you ever knowingly approved bad code because the business needed it? So in fact, just to rephrase this question, have you ever thought that because see in daily lives we get some deadlines, right? As you mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
So as the business needs something as soon as possible on an urgent basis.
Yeah.
So in that remarks, have you ever approved a bad code in that time of frame?
Not per se bad code, but we have like added shortcuts, some cut corners to ship the feature so that it's possible and it is working. Like it's very demoable, or sometimes it's like partial features. So that is as expected. If the business requirements changes or if it's urgent, it is required. But not doing anything after that or not keeping track of these changes, that's the gap we should have found.
That's a very valid point, I would say. Extremely valid. Which I think audience can definitely put this remark as an extremely important.
Yeah, sometimes this business opportunity also might be more valuable than what we are actually trying to solve. Let's say this engineering practices that we're following. So at the time, we have to go ahead with this. But again, what Ankit has mentioned, I completely agree with that. That we'll have to document this, all this, like whatever the tech debts that we have to document this. And the issue is not with keeping all these tech debts. It's just that we are considering that this doesn't exist. That's the main problem.
Yeah. Giving a blind eye is never a solution.
Totally agree that. So if I just compare that, everyone says that AI is making the engineers faster, right? But AI can really make the code and the entire thing much better. I mean, of course, in terms of evaluation. But if I compare, let's say, because everybody is saying that these days that through the help of AI, it is becoming faster. Engineers are becoming faster, right? So can AI actually make software better?
Yeah, definitely. So if we incorporate everything correctly and efficiently in our process, like there are lots of steps in software making. So you have review that we can do, and then you have evaluations, testing, auto generation, some test cases, and running through user stories and checking. Lots of stuff are there. So in each step, we can leverage AI, and that actually helps a lot. And we are already using it, and we are seeing a good result where we evaluate everything, like whatever the SOE is, and we just go through it, like validate, is it correct or not, was this discussed? Because sometimes it happens that in the product making we forget, like this feature was added, like was supposed to be added or not. And here we can give the AI whatever documents we have, and it will spit out the correct answer.
Yes.
And yeah, so that helps a lot. Not just code review, the entire cycle can get help with AI. So yeah, that's how I'm using.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
as you told about the review part,
Yeah.
so AI is generating the code, right?
Mm.
And right now, human intervention
Mm.
is definitely required.
Yeah.
But you say that eventually, after a couple of months, couple of years, do you think that AI eventually will review the code much better than the senior engineers?
AI is now also, like, I mean, it's able to identify the common mistakes, the syntax related issues. So all these are, I mean, we are already, it's able to identify. It's just that, I mean, going forward, it'll improve a lot. But again, final review has to be done by the human. Yeah.
That is must, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't leave through AI that yes, it can do that for the final judgment as well, final evaluation.
Yeah.
I think human is definitely required if it's a couple of years, from now, down the line. Okay, now the most important, interesting fact and interesting phase of the podcast is rapid fire. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Great. Great code is?
Easy to maintain.
Okay. Bad architecture feels like?
Feels like a burden.
It could be a messy room where we are not able to find anything.
Yeah.
One engineering habit everyone should adopt?
Good code reviews and discussion with peers when doing review. I see sometimes that, like, there is a single person who is reviewing. There should be multiple peers who help with the review, because having more eyes is very very important in reviewing code.
Correct. Yeah.
The future engineer must learn
Systems thinking.
very important, no?
Yeah.
The last one for the rapid fire. AI will replace engineers who?
So stop learning.
Okay. It was really good answers from both of you. The last question is that, let's say in 2030, right? AI is writing the code 95%. Correct.
Yeah.
So you think that then what the engineering excellence mean in that time?
It would be decision making, I would say. Like, I mean, everything would be provided to us. Like, I mean, we'll be able to easily generate the code. It's just that, I mean, whether to go ahead with this approach or the other approach, that we'll have to take. So we can consider these tools as GPS. Like, I mean, it will provide you multiple routes, but we are the one who is driving the car, right? So we can decide, like, I mean, whether it's the best approach or there are like any other approaches.
Yeah. That's why I feel like architectural thinking, the thinking of system-wide design and how everything puts together. Like Joydeep mentioned, how we drive the car. So we have the car, so we can go to AWS, go to Google Cloud,
so simple.
all those things. So it's us, our experience as humans, what we have seen in our production and what has failed, what has worked. All this will come in picture, and we'll just give it to AI. It will give us the answer.
Amazing. So we are almost in the end of the session. Thank you so much, Ankit and Joydeep, for joining us. It was absolutely a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Prem.
Thank you, Prem. Same here.
Thanks again. So we'll be meeting soon in another podcast after a couple of weeks. And to all the audience, thank you so much for watching. If you do like, please subscribe and share to your friends. We'll be getting back soon with another interesting topic. Thank you so much. Signing off.